As a hairstylist, I'm really aware of how important having great hair is and how much of a difference it can make to how you feel. And I'm reminded of a story, if I could share with you, from 1992 actually. I was working in a small suburban salon in Devonport in Auckland, New Zealand, and a woman came in to have her hair cut with me. And you know, her hair wasn't great. She had that kind of thick, coarse hair, but not a lot of it. It had a bend, kind of what you might refer to as a kink, so that it stuck out in the wrong places. It wasn't really a curl, and it wasn't straight. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't great hair. And she had a big port wine birthmark on the side of her face, and she was probably a little bit overweight as well. And she was very, very self-conscious. And you know, I could tell that from her body language and the way she carried herself. When she came into the salon, she literally kind of sort of shuffled in with her head down and almost apologetically clung to the wall as she made her way to the reception area to wait. Well, I took her to my workstation to cut her hair, and while she was sitting there, and even during the consultation, she wouldn't make eye contact with me in the mirror. In fact, she wouldn't even look at herself in the mirror. And the whole time that I was working with her, she just sat with her head down like that and her shoulders slumped, sort of playing with her hands. And every time I pulled her head up straight to try and, you know, check the balance in the mirror, every time she caught sight of herself, she would avert her eyes really quickly and look away. Anyway, I cut her hair. I didn't do anything different than I did for every other client. I cut her hair. I gave her a little short, sharp, blunt bob because I wanted to strengthen her jawline. And I gave her a heavy fringe because she had these amazing, beautiful, bright blue eyes, and I just wanted to draw attention to her eyes. A little bit of shape around the face, you know, because I wanted her to be able to wear her hair and cover up that little port wine birthmark on her face. I blow dried her hair, finished it, dusted her off, took the cape off, and I showed her the back with a back mirror. And she looked up into the mirror to look at her hair, and my guess, or what was going on in my mind, is that she was just checking to see that I hadn't ruined her hair. And as she glanced up for the first time in the hour that she'd been sitting with me, she sat and she held her gaze in the mirror, and as she did, her spine sort of started to straighten and she started to smile. And she looked at herself for probably a good 2 or 3 seconds holding her gaze. Her shoulders came back, and when she stood up and walked across to the reception with a real kick in her stride, with her chest puffed out and her head held high. And she opened the door and walked out down the street happy and smiling. And you know, I mean, I've been really lucky. I've had a fantastic career. I've worked with all sorts of amazing celebrities like Lorde and Kylie Bax and Adrian Brody and Naomi Watts, just to name a few. I worked for Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, and I've worked on Fashion Week around the world, assisting on shows like Prada, Versace, Yves, Laurent, Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, just to name a few. But that moment, that one moment with that woman in the salon has completely defined my career, and it's the reason I do what I do.